So today what we're going to do is we're kind of going to build off that Scott Boras team build that we did yesterday. Today we're going to do the largest contracts at every single position. So even more money than the Scott Boras team build. So if you guys are still enjoying these videos, thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and enjoyed the content. And as always, in the comment section, let me know future videos you would like to see. Kind of on, just kind of going off of what I've already said, Scott Boras video, it's going to be on screen now. It's also going to be up here in the corner. Go and give it a watch if you haven't already. And in the description are all social media links: Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Go and give them a follow if you haven't yet. So let's get into it. This team is kind of gross. So as per usual, I'll put the roster that I used above my head, but the only difference is that I moved these players all onto one team. So this is the roster that I'm using for like the ratings and stuff. It is also one that gives you the most up-to-date on all transactions in baseball. This is the username. So this person is constantly up to date every single time a transaction happens in baseball. So go and search that username. He'll have every single up-to-date roster. So with that being said, let's take a look at this team. We got Garrett Cole. I'm actually going to pull my sheet up that has like all the money right here. So Garrett Cole, 324 over 9 years. That's 324 million. The next one, we got Steven Strasburg, who's making 245 million over 7 years. David Price is next. That's 217 over 7 years. We got not Strasburg, Scherzer, who's making 210 over 7, and then Greinke, who's making 206 over 6, which, I mean, that's a lot of money, and it looks like this roster is not where I want it to be. So these guys need to go back down, and then we'll bump up the other guys that are on the squad. So Mark Melancon is one of those guys. He makes 62 million over 4 years. And then when we hop over here, I need Wade Davis to be part of the team, so we're missing out on him. But Chapman makes 48 million over 3 years. Carlos Martinez is making 51 over 5 years. Kenley's making 80 million over 5. Ian Kennedy's making 70 over 5. And then Wade Davis is making 52 over 3. So we'll wait till the waiver period's over, and then we'll just add them back to the roster. Our two catchers, Buster Posey's making almost 160 million over 8 years. And then Russell Martin's 82 over 5, which both are pretty expensive catchers. Pujols is another name that we're going to have to get involved. Pujols is making 240 over 10. And then you got Miguel Cabrera, who's making 248 over 8. So crazy contracts for these aging first basemen. Altuve's making 163 over 7, and Robinson Cano's making 240 over 10 years. It's just crazy contracts. Arenado, we got 260 over 8, and Machado's making 300 over 10. Bogarts and Andrews are actually making the same amount of money. It's just and actually over the same time period too, 120 over 6 years, which is kind of gross. You got Stanton, who's making 325 over 13 years. In center field, you got Mike Trout, who's making 400 over 10. I think there's 2-year options that kind of make more money too, so it's over $400 for the whole contract. Jason Hayward's making 184 over 8, and then you got Bryce Harper, who's making 330 over 13. So much money being spent there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sim the next couple days so that we can get these guys back into the roster, and then we're just going to sim a season, see what we can do with this team. Hopefully win games. You know, I think we should be able to win some games with this team. When you look at it, it's kind of a gross lineup. Really, the only downside is the first base and catcher. And I mean, you could even stick, you know, one of these other guys at first base. I'm pretty sure you could move like Machado to first and then let, you know, somebody else play DH. But you know what, the team looks really good. Starting pitching is pretty solid as well. Carlos Martinez is going to be our long relief guy, but this is kind of what we're working with. Like I've said, the team is really good, and it kind of makes sense why a lot of these guys did get paid. It also makes sense why a lot of these guys probably shouldn't be paid, but we're first in baseball in almost every category except for speed, power, and defense. And yeah, my question marks for this team is like, Ian Kennedy got paid, you know, Carlos Martinez, that's kind of a big contract for him. And then obviously Jason Hayward, oh man, that contract hurts me as a Cubs fan. So that's the team. Let's see what we can do with it. I'll see you guys at the end of the first season. All right, so we're in the month of September. Things are looking like it's going pretty well. You know, I mean, 100 plus wins is always a good thing to see when you enter the last month of the season And it's looking like we're breaking some records for most wins in a season. 126, 36 losses, taking on the winner of the wild card, which we all know what that means. We're going to lose and get swept at one point. So Xander Bogaerts had the best batting average. Mike Trout had the most walks, and Trout had the best WAR. And then Garrett Cole and Aroldis Chapman had our pitching accolades. So things look like they went pretty well. Awards-wise, Silver Slugger, MVP, Gold Glove, and Cy Young. Garrett Cole was just absolutely lights out. 23-2, 2.53 ERA, 319 strikeouts. Whew. Let's take a look at these team rankings. Batting average is pretty high, almost at 300. At bats, okay, makes a little sense. Runs, almost 1,000 runs. Hits, 1,600. Doubles were not up there. Triples not up there. Home runs, we were actually second. Really? Wow, okay. 275. We had the most runs batted in. Third most stolen bases, which is crazy because we were on the lower end for speed. And pitching, I'm assuming things went pretty well. Let's take a look at those really quick. ERA, we had the best at 281 as a team. Complete games, 23, which was double the next team. 18 shutouts, 66 saves, 11 blown saves. Okay, so yeah, things look like it went pretty well. So let's take a look at our pitching staff. Garrett Cole was absolutely lights out. Max Scherzer as well. Steven Strasburg right behind him. Zach Greinke was right there. And then David Price with a 3.7 ERA and a 1.2 whip was our worst pitcher. That's crazy to think about. Carlos Martinez was great in that long relief role. And then when you take a look at the rest of our bullpen, I mean, every single pitcher was just perfect. Like, this is what I hope for in my rebuilds, just to get a pitching staff that doesn't go bad. I'm taking a look at the rest of the team. Russell Martin was the worst on the bench. Everybody else was pretty solid. Altuve hit 23 home runs with 274 average. Bogaerts 340 with 30 home runs, 108 RBIs. That's just gross at 1016 OPS. Mike Trout 42 home runs, 124 RBIs, 1027 OPS. Arenado, very good season for him. Bryce Harper, let's take a look. Almost a 900 OPS, pretty close to like kind of what he does for a career. And then Machado as kind of our DH third baseman, gross stats there. Stanton, pretty good. I mean, even Cabrera was solid. 300 average, 800 OPS, 11 home runs. That's not terrible. And then Buster Posey, he's not a home run hitter. So, I mean, he's still doing what he needs to do. Love to see it. So let's take a look at the postseason, taking on the Red Sox and facing elimination as expected. It always happens this way. So we got to throw Garrett Cole on the mound, even though he's having a bad game. So let's see what happens here. Can we get the win? That's just to keep this series alive. That would be huge. It's not looking like it. Oh, there we go. Bogaerts ties it up. Things are okay. At least we're not getting blown out in this game, which would have lost us the series, but still 1-1. And what's with the offense? Where's our offense? We're losing 2-1 now. There we go. Stanton gets us back into it. And like, we were going against Nathan Eovaldi and we weren't scoring. That's what's kind of worrying, that we can't score against Nathan Eovaldi. So we do have the lead, which is good. It's just, can we, kind of build on that? Things aren't going terribly, but oh man, 4-3. We're really gonna lose here, and it's gonna be the end. We're really gonna lose here. We've been eliminated. I told you guys, it happens every single time. Every single time. How did we get knocked out like that? There's no way that should have happened. I mean, Garrett Cole was absolutely atrocious. Scherzer was good. Strasburg struggled. These two guys didn't get to pitch. Martinez was really bad. Jeez, what? I called it. I said we were gonna lose, and we did. Our leadoff hitter was what, 4 for 16. Bogaerts was good. Trout, you'd expect him to do a lot better. Oh man, Arenado, whoa, yikes. Manny Machado is atrocious. Stanton, Buster Posey was our best hitter, but like half our team was in the 100s or below. That is bad. That is so bad. Whoa. Why? There's no reason why we should have lost. We're the first ranked team in baseball. There's no way we should have lost that. All right, so let's sim it out. See who becomes the World Series champion. The Dodgers defeat the Red Sox. So I guess the Red Sox were just really good because they ended up going to the World Series and losing to the Dodgers anyways. But unfortunately, our team's not good enough to win a World Series, which is crazy to think about because you look at our team, we have like the top player in every single position. I think the worst one was Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols. Everything else is definitely a starter on a lot of teams, which is crazy to think about. And you're probably thinking like, oh, a lot of these guys are kind of aging. Why would they have these contracts? Well, a lot of these guys got their contracts in their prime, and it makes sense why they had those. Like David Price was a top pitcher at his time. Steven Strasburg, Garrett Cole obviously just got paid. Scherzer's been one of the best in a long time. Greinke's been one of the best for a while. Kenley, Aroldis Chapman makes sense. Ian Kennedy kind of confused me. Mark Melancon was good. That kind of makes sense. The catchers made sense. First base makes sense. But Jason Hayward was kind of the outlier for me for the fielder. So it sucks that the Cubs paid him that much, but that's just how it happened. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's biggest contracts team build. If you did, thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and enjoyed the content. And as always, let me know future videos you would like to see in the future. Let me know some other themes or some other team builds you would like to see. I definitely have some in mind, but I want to see what you guys can come up with as well. So you guys know the drill. There's going to be 2 videos on screen now, my most recent one and also one that YouTube recommends you check out. If you haven't already seen either of them, go and give them a watch. What are you doing? Other than that, guys, I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.